was really special. I do have at my parents' home the special edition, but in Spanish, so I bought it in English. So yeah, let's read this classic for Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This writer from France. So the original translation is by Catherine Good. Um, yeah, with full color illustrations. Is the book still? Right there. Yeah. Okay, let's read the synopsis. It is only with the heart that one can see correctly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. A pilot lost in the Sahara desert meets an extraordinary little prince in this enchanting, universally beloved story. The writer was a pilot, if you know. Okay, what else? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was born in Lyons, France. He wrote The Little Prince in the United States during a 2-year self-imposed exile from occupied France. A year after the book's publication in 1943, Saint-Exupéry disappeared over the Mediterranean while flying a reconnaissance mission for his French air squadron. Best known throughout the world as the author and illustrator of The Little Prince. He wrote several other books that have also become a classic of the world literature. Okay, let's read. Um, if you have any preferences of other books, let me know. I'll I'll buy it for you guys and read also for you if you want to, and maybe help you to relax and sleep. Okay, the first chapter. Once, when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book called True Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the act of swallowing an animal. Here's a copy of the drawing. In the book, it said, boa constrictors swallow their prey whole without chewing it. After that, they are not be able to move, and they sleep through the 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply then over the adventures of the jungle, and after some work with a color pencil, I succeeded in making my first drawing. Number 1. It looked like this. I showed my masterpiece to the grown-ups, and asked them whether the drawing frightened them, but they answered, frightened. Why should anyone be frightened by a hat? My drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not be able to understand it, I made another drawings and drew the inside of the boa constrictor so that the grown-ups could see it clearly. They always always need to have things explained by drawing number 2 like this. The grown-up's response this time was to advise me to lay aside the drawings of focus tritos, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself instead to geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. That is why, at the age of 6, I gave up what might have been a magnificent career as a painter. I have been disheartened by the failure of my drawing number 1 and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it's tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. So then, I chose another profession, and I learned to pilot airplanes. I have flown a little over all parts of the world, and it is true that geography has been very successful to me. Sorry, very useful to me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona. If one gets lost in the night, that knowledge is valuable. In the course of in this life, I have had a great many encounters with a great many people who have been concerned with matters of consequences. I have lived a great deal among grown-ups. I have seen them intimately, close at hand, and that has much improved my opinion of them. Whenever I met one of them who seemed to me at all clear-sighted, and tried the experiment of showing him my drawing number 1, which I have always kept, I will try to find out. I will try to find out. So, if this was a person of true understanding, but however it was, he or she will always say, "That is a hat." Then I will never talk to that person about boa constrictors, or primeval forests, or stars. I will bring myself down to his level. I will talk to him about bridge, golf, and politics, and the grown-up will be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible man. So I live my life alone, without anyone that I could really talk to, until I had an accident with my plane in the desert of Sahara. 6 years ago, something was broken in my engine, and as I had with me neither mechanic nor any passengers, I set myself to attempt the difficult repairs all alone. It was a question of life or death for me. I had scarcely enough drinking water to last a week. The first night, then I went to sleep on the sand, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. As you can imagine my amazement and surprise when I was awakened by an odd little voice. It said, "If you please, draw me a sip." What? Draw me a sip? I am to my feet, completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard. I looked carefully around me, and I saw a most extraordinarily small person who stood there examining me with great seriousness. Here you may see the best portrait that later I was able to make of him. By my drawing, he is certainly very much less charming than its model. That, however, is not my fault. discouraged me my painter's career when I was 6 years old, and I never learned to draw anything except boas from the outside and boas from the inside. Now I started at this sudden apparition with my eyes fairly starting out of my head in astonishment. Remember, I had crashed in the desert a thousand miles from my inhabited region, and yet my little man seemed neither to be a stranger totally among the sands, nor to be fainting from the fatigue or hunger or thirsty or fear. Nothing about him gave any suggestion of a child lost in the middle of the desert, a thousand miles from any human habitation. When at last I was able to speak, I said to him, "But what did you doing here?" And in answer, he repeated very slowly, as if he were speaking of a matter of great consequences, "If you please, draw me a ship." When a mystery is too overpowering, one dare not disobey, absurd as might seem to me, a thousand miles from any human habitation, and in the danger of death, I took out of my pocket a sheet of paper and my fountain pen, but then I remember how my studies have been concentrated in geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, and I told the little chap, a little closely too, that I did not know how to draw. He answered me that as a mother draw me a ship, but he had never drawn a ship, so I drew for him one of the two pictures I had drawn so often. It was that of the boa constrictor from the outside, and I was astounded to hear the little fellow greet with, "No, no, 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 I don't want an elephant inside a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is a very dangerous creature, and an elephant is very cumbersome. Where I live, everything is very small. What I need is a ship. Draw me a ship." So then I made a drawing. He looked at it carefully. Then he said, "No, this ship is already very sickly. Make me another." So I made another drawing. My friend smiled gently and indulgently. "You see yourself," he said, "that is not a sheep, this is a ram. It has horns." So then I did my drawing over once more, but it was repeated too. So just like the others. "This one is too old. I want a sheep that will live a long time." By this time my patient was exhausted, because he was in a hurry to start taking my engine apart. So I tossed off this drawing, and I drew out an explanation with it. This is the only his box. "The ship you asked for is inside." I was very surprised to see a light break over the face of my young judge. "This is exactly what I wanted. Do you think that this ship will have to have a great deal of grass?" "Why?" "Because where I live, everything is very small." "This is surely be enough grass for him," I said. "It's a very small ship that I have given you." He bent his head over the drawing. "Not too small, Dad. Look, he has gone to sleep." And that is how I made the acquaintance of the little prince. It took me a long time to learn where he came from. The little prince, who asked me so many questions, never seemed to hear the ones I asked him. It was from words dropped by chance that, little by little, everything was revealed to me. The first time he saw my airplane, for instance, "I shall not draw my airplane, that would be much too complicated for me." He asked me, "What is that object?" "That is not an object, it flies, it's an airplane." "It is my airplane." And I was proud to have him learn that I could fly. He cried out then, "What? You drop down from the sky?" "Yes," I answered modestly. "Oh, broke into a lovely pile of lava, which irritated me very much. I like my misfortunes to take in seriously. Then he added, "So you too came from the sky, which is your planet." At that moment, I caught a gleam of light in the potential mystery of his presence, and demanded abruptly, "Do you come from another planet?" But he did not reply. He tossed his head gently without taking his eyes from the plane. It is true that on that you can move from very far away. And he sank into a reverie which lasted a long time. Then, taking my zip out of his pocket, he buried himself in the contemplation of his treasure. You can imagine how my curiosity was aroused by this half-confidence about the other planets. I made a great effort, therefore, to find out more on this subject. "My little man, where did you come from? Is this where I live, of which you speak? Where do you want to take your ship?" After a reflective silence, he answered, "The thing that is so good about the box you have given me is that at night he can use it at his house. That is so, and if you are good, I will give you a string too, so you can tie him during the day, and I post to tie him too." My little prince seemed shocked by this offer. "Tie him? That's a queer idea. But if you don't tie him," I said, "he will wander off somewhere and get lost." My friend broke into another pile of lava. "But where do you think he will go?" "Anywhere, straight ahead of him." Then the little prince said, "That doesn't matter. Where I live, everything is so small, and with perhaps a hint of sadness," he added, "straight ahead of him, nobody can go very far." Um, yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. Um, maybe I will read another 2 or 3 chapters of The Little Prince, The Petit Prince. You like it? Just like the video, subscribe, and also there's an option which calls hype.